What's up? Sunday morning, and I went back and forth about whether or not I was going to brew today because I've got ingredients ordered to do 3 recipes that I've been wanting to do, and the ingredients didn't make it in, but I stock a lot of different stuff, so I actually have plenty to make, you know, several different types of beers if I wanted to. So I thought I'd go ahead and make this day useful, and I'm gonna make a. It's kind of along the lines of a stone ruination, but I don't know how close it'll be, but it's like 14 pounds of 2-row. I'm gonna do a 5-gallon batch because this is gonna be like close to a 1080 beer, I think. And my mash tuns is pushing that with a 10-gallon batch, so I'm just gonna do 5 gallons today. But 14 pounds of 2-row, a pound of Crystal 20, Magnum hops for bittering, and then Centennial the rest of the way, like at 15, 10, and 1 minute. And like I said, well, I don't know if you'll see this video first, but I ended up, I always fill my strike water and sparge water up, my hot liquor tank with my strike water and sparge water up with my RV hose from my sink in there, and it's always been hooked up to the cold side on the water line, so dummy me, it's one of those things I've thought about in the past, but just never made the switch. So yesterday I took the time to add a faucet, a little spigot outlet on the hot water line, so now I can put like at least 120 degree water in my hot liquor tank and start at 120 degrees instead of 65, 70, which is what my cold water usually runs. So that'll save on time and propane, heating up from 120 instead of 60 and 70. So anyway, got my strike water heating up. I'm going right at around 1.3 quarts per pound. So I got water up to the 8-gallon mark, and I'll transfer that down to the 3-gallon mark whenever I transfer it into my mash tun. I'll show you that. But I got to get my grains crushed, and be back with you in a minute. All right, 14 pounds of 2-row and a pound of Crystal 20 there in your bucket, in my bucket, not your bucket. And that's what's left of my 50-pound sack of grain. I'm already fixing to run out again, so grain, moving right along. I'll probably throw some rice hulls in here because if I don't malt condition a wet mill, then I just usually throw some rice hulls in there just for the whatnot to help with a stuck sparge or something. So I'll usually throw a big handful or two of that, So let's get it crushed. And away we go. Alright, my mash temps is going to be about 150 degrees, so I got a dough in at 161. I usually go like maybe a degree or two higher just to give me time to stir and everything by the time it equals out. So my strike water is up to 170 now, which will give me plenty of room to transfer to the mash tun and equalize the temperature of the mash tun. When it gets down to about 162 in the mash tun, I'll dough in. So I'm gonna flame out here. I think I'm about out of propane on that tank. I hope I have enough to do today. So I got 8 gallons in here, and I'm gonna drain this. I'm gonna use 5 gallons, so I'll drain this back down to 3. So the March pump's all hooked up. It's not powered up yet, but just open this valve. That drains down and comes to the bottom of the March pump to be able to, so the bubbles will rise. Put this one on and get it flowing a little bit. Make sure this valve's open. It is. Kick it on my foot, and there she rolls. Sometimes it seems like it gets a little slow. I don't know if it loses its prime a little bit. I got a little bit of a drip there. Probably where I didn't put that clamp on tight. But sometimes if I kick it off and on, actually it's going on down pretty good, but I'll kick it off and on. It seems like it takes off a little more. There we go. Moving on down. Like I said, looking for a strike temperature of 161. So my mash tun is equalized temperature, and I'm like at 162. So I'm gonna go ahead and dough in with my mash paddle and my grain. Get her all stirred up. Simple stuff. See the rice hulls floating around on top there. Just dough in, going, and check my temps, and shut the lid. Put a blanket over the top, and I usually stir it maybe at least once or twice during the 60-minute mash, just not so much for the sugars, but to make sure the temperatures are staying consistent out through the grain bed. Because I have checked temperatures and it'd be off 2 or 3 degrees on from side to side or whatever, but just kind of like to do that. So stir us up a little more and check my temps, and we'll be good to go. So while my mash is going on, I usually take this time to go ahead and measure out my hops. And like I said, this one's going to get 1 3/4 ounce of magnums. The alpha acid on these are 13.1%. So what I usually do is grab whatever little containers I've got laying around, cups or whatever. And I'm going to go with 1 3/4 ounce of the magnum for my bittering 60 minutes, and then the centennials. And I buy these usually in 4 ounce packages. The centennials will get an ounce at 30 minutes, an ounce at 10 minutes, and an ounce at 1 minute. And then it dry hops with 2 ounces of centennials after the 2-week primary. So then I'll get all these sealed back up with in different bags with my vacuum sealer. And back in the freezer. Ta-da! Ain't that amazing? Alright, a little over an hour on the mash, and I'm going to start my boil off. Do it nice and slow and set the grain bed, and get the wort running clear. Got my batch sparge water heating up, so by the time I get this first runnings off, my batch sparge water will be ready to go. I'm sitting here thinking and watching. I usually boil off about a half a gallon to a gallon, depending on how long it takes to get it halfway looking clear. And I normally double batch sparge, but today I'm feeling lazy, and I may just go ahead and add the I should get like looking at my notes, 3.5 gallons off these first runnings, and I'm looking at a pre-boil volume of like 6 3/4 gallons, somewhere around there, a little under 7. So I'll need to add like, what is that, a little over 3 gallons of water, and most of the time I will split that up into 2 batch sparges, but I believe I'm just going to go ahead and do one today and dump it all in there and let her rock and roll. So I've been getting about 70-72% efficiency, and I'll see if that makes a big difference. I kind of go back and forth, and I can't really remember which one gives me better efficiency. I'm sure the double batch sparge does. Most people it does, but we'll see. Into the big bowl kettle. Just lay a piece of tin foil on top of my grain bed and just pour it back over there to make sure I don't cause any channeling or anything. While I'm draining off my first runnings, thought I'd walk out here and water my hot plant and my mater plant. Mater plant's doing really good. The hot plant is not so good, but you got to remember this is a first year cascade and it's going to take some time to get the root ball established, and I wasn't really even planning on having any kind of yield off of it. I got one big long vine going up. You can see it's probably what, 4.5 foot long, tall, 4.5 foot tall, and get all kinds of crazy stuff coming off of it at the bottom. I hadn't really took care of it much. Like I say, I'm not too worried about it this year. Just let it do its thing, whatever it does. I know some people will get some hops the first year, but I don't plan on it. If I do, it'll be great. If I don't, no biggie. But tomato plant went nuts, man. So probably shouldn't have planted them that close together, or done a little better on training it the other way. But anyway, there's the old cascade. And maybe next year it'll shoot on up to about 20 foot like it ought to. Okay, got about 3.25 gallons, not quite 3.5 on my first running. So my batch sparge water's heated up. Got 7 gallons in there. Heated up to like 175 degrees, so everything's on and ready. And for this one, I just hang it over the edge here, and I'll flip the switch on the pump and pump what I need 3.5 more gallons to make up my 6.75 gallons. So I'll take that down to 765. God, I can't do my math. 7 minus 3.5 is what? 7,654. 3.5. So I'll go down to 3.5. God, I feel dumb. Can't think this morning. Need a beer. So I'm gonna hit the old switch, and I think everything's still turned on. Yeah, it is. And I can see it going down out there, and I'm gonna raise this up and just kind of splash this around. Just kind of do that and keep an eye on my volumes out here and stop it at 3.5, and I'll be good to go for my back sparge. I'll stir this up real good and let it sit for just a couple of minutes and do another boil off and drain it and be ready to boil. Got the batch sparge done. I think I missed my numbers. I probably should have just not been stupid and done a double batch sparge like I normally do, but I don't know, we'll see. I got my wort sample to do my readings from, and the last 2 beers we've done down here, my buddies have helped me, and the one we did, we got the sample and had a few home brews, and seen the sample sitting there to take the hydrometer readings with, and drunk it to see what it tastes like, and had forgotten to take the gravity reading first, so didn't get the pre-boil gravity on that one. And then the last one, beer we did, I had it sitting out, and the guy knocked it over and spilt it. So this one I'm going to try to keep in a safe place so I get my pre-boil gravity reading for this batch, which should be 1069. So we'll see. I went a little higher too on my pre-boil volumes, which was like 7 gallons to the 6.75, so that'll change that a bit. I'll have to go changing the software and see what it comes up. But there you go, 7 gallons. Getting close to a boil, and I got the hops all lined up and ready, so I'm gonna do a little cleanup and get ready for the next steps. Right, we are getting down to the last 10 minutes of the boil, and since I went over my pre-boil volume and also didn't double batch sparge, and I lost a couple of gravity points. Couple. I got, it's supposed to be in 1069, I got like 1055, something like that. So I should, like I said, I should have just took my time and done it right, but I'm going to toss in some, I've got a 10-minute addition of centennials here coming up, and as you can see there, I've got 8 ounces of dextrose corn sugar and 8 ounces of extra light DME. I'm going to toss in there just for the why not to bump the gravity on back up, and it'll help dry the beer out a little more. I'm going to try to make this in a dry so it's a little hop assertive. So I'll be using US-05 yeast on it. So yeah, going to toss this in here in a minute. And can you tell I'm just tired? I feel so tired. Like I could just lay down and sleep right here. 10 minutes, getting ready to toss this in. 1 minute left. We'll toss in the last 1 ounce of centennials, and then we'll chill that baby down and moving on. Chilling her down with the immersion chiller. It'll take me about 20 minutes to get it down to about 75 degrees. Just about to wrap this thing up, and well, you just saw me transferring it from the boil kettle. Got it cooled down to about 75 degrees. That's about as cool as I can get it with it being hot as it is outside, and with my patients standing there waiting. So I usually get it down about 75, and then I'll bring it on in here in the basement. And I transferred it there. You see it, seen it splashing in the bucket. So that gives it some aeration, and of course you have to aerate the beer. So I don't even know, I think I've talked about this and showed it, but I did go buy the little oxygen canister from Lowe's Hardware, and from Williams Brewing bought the regulator and the little aeration stone set up. Can't remember if that's like a 1 micron, 0.5 micron, I can't remember what size it is, but I'll basically just stick that down in the wort there and turn the oxygen on until it starts bubbling a little bit. And I would show it to you, but it's hard to do that, and I don't want to set my tripod up and everything. It's not that big a deal. Just basically sit in there, turn it on till it starts bubbling a little bit for like 45 seconds. And from what I've read and figured, I should be getting like 8 to 10 parts per million with the splashing going into the fermenter that I get and the oxygen. So I'll do that and set it in the chest freezer there and get it on cool down to about 63 or 4 degrees, somewhere around there, and then pitch the yeast and put the blow-off tube on, and that'll be it. So hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I haven't done a brew day in a long time, and I'm sorry I'm like dragging my butt today because I'm just wore out, tired, and I'm gonna get this done and get me a bite of lunch and sit my butt down on the couch and do nothing. So questions, comments, lay them on me. Appreciate you checking out the channel. Maybe next time I'll do a 10-gallon video, I don't know, but there you go. Later.